Welcome everyone to today's video. I wanted to talk a bit about a game that I've recently started playing again, and it's one that I've reviewed before on the channel. The game I'm talking about is Breaches, and there are many reasons this game is today's topic. If you haven't already, then I'd like to remind you all to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment and a like. The support really means a lot to me. It's also always great to respond to comments, so let's dive into today's video. Now, Breaches came out on the PSVR2 in December 2023 and received quite a bit of hype, even if the release did come out of nowhere at the time. The game was met with favourable reviews and people seemed like they were having a good time. For me, I played Breaches a lot during the release week. I was having an absolute blast with this game, and the feeling this game gave me has never changed. I constantly jump in and out of the game, and it's one of my favourite shooters on the system. For me, Breaches gave me that same gaming experience that Firewall 0 Hour gave me back on the PSVR1. Intense team-based matches which are heavily reliant on communication, forward thinking and skill. This game ticked all the boxes that I needed. Sadly, Firewall Ultra was meant to give me the same feeling as 0 Hour did, but that released in a pretty sorry state and we all know how that turned out. Although as a fan of the original, I still believe First Contact deserved better. Anyways, moving on. After the initial week of release for Breaches, I still chimed in over the months after release, but sadly it seemed the player base on the PS5 side had dropped. I'd maybe see one other person in a game with a PSVR2, but I was expecting to see more people. It kind of felt the hype for Breaches came and went in an instant, and already fans of the system were waiting for the next best shooter to arrive. Before we jump into the main grit of the video, I'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, VR Tactical Gear. If you haven't heard of VR Tactical Gear, they make the Armory R1, which is a VR gun stock compatible with the PSVR2, Quest, HTC Vive, HP Reverb G2 and the Valve Index. The Armory R1 comes in two colours, the SWAT Black and Imperial White, and is an injection moulded VR stock. What makes this stock so unique is the non-magnetic design, which makes it very easy to use. So if you're missing those shots or want a bit more immersion, then hop over to the link in the description to order. Also, if you use code GWT, you'll save yourself 10%. Once again, a huge thank you to VR Tactical Gear. Now back to the video. Now, as I said when I started the video, I've recently started playing Breaches again, and still the player base is more Quest than PC, which is to be expected, but I'm still curious how many PSVR2 players still play Breaches, and what their overall thoughts are. I think as well with the release of Triangle Factory's next game coming up, which is titled Forefront, it's important now more than ever for them to see PSVR2 players jumping onto their previous release to give them a reason to port this game over, which is completely different to Breaches in many ways. Now, it's all well and good developers seeing sales of a game, and I don't necessarily think Breaches sales on the PSVR2 were bad, but then again I can't officially confirm or deny this as I don't have their sales statistics, nor have the devs told me if it was a success or a failure on the PSVR2. This is just pure speculation. But one thing is for sure, recurring players or players' retention to the game could be considered quite low, and again I'm only going by the lack of PSVR2 players I bump into. I want Triangle Factory to see this. I want them to tell me Breaches was a massive success, because that's what they deserve for Breaches to be. Anyways, let's take a minute to talk about Forefront, which is the other reason why I wanted to talk about Breaches and Triangle Factory. For anyone that doesn't know what Forefront is, it's a 32-player battle on a variety of environments that offers semi-destruction and vehicles. Basically think Battlefield but in VR. The game, much like other shooters of its kind, offers multiple classes such as the Assault, Engineer, Medic and Sniper, which as usual offers different weapons and gadgets set to their classes, meaning finding a playstyle that works for you is important. Triangle Factory have stated that the game will offer realistic gunplay along with tactical movement across large-scale environments. Now, let's talk about the destruction. Triangle Factory have stated that you can blast through walls and collapse structures to create new paths or remove enemy cover, which will offer a way to shape the battlefield to your advantage. Now, if you're interested in this game, then go join their Discord as playtesting is starting in the summer, and I'm incredibly hyped for this game. Early access across Quest and Steam is meant to start this year, but PSVR2 is missing from that. Again, this could be due to the fact that it'll be in early access first, and PlayStation doesn't allow for early access. However, the studio did state to Upload VR that they can't commit to a PSVR2 release yet, but they are looking into the idea. They then stated that the PSVR2 port of Breaches was quite time consuming and faced delays prior to its launch, and if such a port does happen for Forefront, it will happen post-launch. Sadly, this is something PSVR2 fans are used to at this point, but with multiplayer games, as soon as something is post-launch and you start playing, you're going against skilled players with far better understanding of the game. Now, Breaches did offer a lobby for new players, and maybe if they do port Forefront, they'll do a similar thing. Either way, I'm hyped for this game, like extremely hyped. However, I'd prefer to play it on the PSVR2 as that's my go-to headset for shooters due to the adaptive triggers and haptics, especially when they're used correctly. So with that, my question I have for any of you that have watched the whole video is, do you still play Breaches, and if not, why? Also, are you hyped for Forefront? Let me know in the comments as they're always great to respond to. Anyways, as always, thanks for taking the time to watch this video, I appreciate it a lot. I'll see you all in the next one, have a wonderful day.